There's been plenty of news lately about job cuts, but New Zealand's overall unemployment rate rise to 7.3% has shocked markets, economists and even the Prime Minister. And it doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. Based on current estimates, it could take 2 years for that figure to drop below 6.5%. Matt Nolan, economist at Infometrics, joins me now. Good morning to you, Matt. Look, I want to ask you, we say all the time unemployment is something that lags the downturn. But we've been out of recession for 3.5 years. So why is it getting bad now?
Well, in order to understand what's going on, we first need to say, hey, what does this figure mean? Where does 7.3% come from? Now, it's a bad figure, but to understand it, I'll give you two stories. The optimistic economist would say this figure's a lie, that this isn't right. It's only that one quarter which it happened in. The whole increase happened in Auckland. So we saw a big jump in the Auckland unemployment rate, and that drove up the national rate. Now, we saw that happen in June 2010 as well, and it was just what's called noise. It was just the numbers being funny. On top of that, we know that there was a lot of talk about people needing to sort out benefits, and that could have changed the way people were responding. And we know a lot of workers that are going to Christchurch to work aren't being counted. So all these things exaggerate the figure. The optimist would say unemployment's just still very high. The pessimist says this figure is real. We've seen full-time employment drop, we've seen hours worked drop. And so, as a result, this is a really bad figure. So
which one are you? Are you looking at this as some kind of anomaly, or is this showing what some are calling a jobs crisis?
I'd say I'm a little bit of both. So we do have an issue with jobs here. We have experienced a time where the government has cut back spending, expecting the Christchurch rebuild to lead to a pickup in jobs. Now, part of that isn't being measured, pushing up the figure, but part of that is real. We haven't had the Christchurch rebuild take place as quickly as we expected, and it has led to a situation where the labour market has got worse. So
when you say the government's cutting jobs, expecting Christchurch to pick it up, then they are quite directly partly to blame for these figures.
Oh look, the government cutting back spending and trying to get its books in order quickly has had an impact on pushing up the unemployment rate.
So should they be doing that then when unemployment is as high as it is?
I would say what they were doing made sense given what they expected for Christchurch. The Reserve Bank as well kept interest rates where they were because of what they expected for Christchurch. Now the government needs to admit, look, it's going to be a long time until unemployment comes down. The economy isn't really running well. We can sit here and run deficits a little bit longer. We have overseas financial companies and rating agencies saying we're allowed to, saying that's still responsible, and we will allow that.
What about the Reserve Bank? Interest rates already at record lows, but what are the chances that this, combined with really low inflation, are going to prompt them to cut further?
Well, this very much depends on their outlook for the labour market. Their outlook, not so much how we feel. I mean, my feeling is that unemployment will stay high for a very long time. We're talking about 6.5% at the end of next year. We're talking about staying above 6%. Now, 5% is when the labour market's sort of functioning well. At 6%, it's still high. 6% for a long time. The Reserve Bank doesn't feel that way. They feel that in 2014, the labour market will be working again, that the Christchurch rebuild will be underway, and the terms of trade will be higher because export commodity prices went up and the economy will have recovered. If they expect that, cutting interest rates now is a bad idea because it takes time for that to impact upon the economy. If they could go back in a time machine, if they had Doctor Who working for them, they would go back a year and cut interest rates. But they can't do that.
Could unemployment get higher still?
I think the actual headline figure has probably peaked here. Things could always randomly go higher for some data reason, if there's a complete collapse in the world economy. But it's very unlikely the headline figure will go up. We'll probably see it go down the next quarter because that Auckland figure was a bit of an anomaly.
Okay.
The increase in the Auckland unemployment rate did explain the entire increase in the national rate. The rest of the country didn't see that.
All right.
We're just seeing very high unemployment rather than a big deterioration.
Thank you very much, Matt Nolan from Infometrics.